Today I'm going to show you how I blend my eyeshadows. So I start with a paint pot from MAC, or you can use a eye primer, and this is going to prime the eye and make sure it's a clear base for us to work with. And I like to set that with a loose powder so that the shadows are easy to blend. I start with the parts of the eye. This one here is the transition shade, and this usually is a peachy or a light brown colour, and it just helps to blend the whole look. The transition shade takes up most of the eye, whereas the crease is just predominantly in the socket. After I finish the transition shade, I usually put a darker colour into the crease, and then I'll put an even darker colour into the crease again. Kind of going to give you that ombre effect with the transition colour. Next is the inner third, and this is where I usually place a light colour to make your eyes appear a lot larger. This is your middle third, but this is kind of only applicable to if you are kind of sectioning the eyes in 3 parts, so that you kind of want a light to dark colour. The crease, and this is usually where you can smoke out a look by deepening it out with a dark brown or even staining the colour. So your lower lash line adopts the same process of making sure it's blended, but it helps smoke out looks as well. And lastly, we have the brow bone highlight, which is usually a nice pale shimmery shade or even a matte shade. These brushes, these are the ones I used, and you can see that they are pretty much different with each other. The one on the left is from MUA, and this one achieves a bit more of a precise blend. 2 brushes alongside that give a bit more of a fluffier blend because they are much fluffier. When it comes to blending, I like to blend into the socket rather than blending upwards. How you hold the brush as well is very important, because if you hold it towards the end like I'm doing here, you apply the least pressure, so this is going to allow you to build up that product. Whereas if you use the brush towards more of the neck of the handle, it's going to apply a lot more pressure, so a lot more product. So if you aren't familiar with blending, I would highly suggest holding the brush at the end. And then when it comes to the actual motions of blending, I like to do circular buffing motions just to get the colour, around the eye, and then I like to do windscreen wiper motions just to really get that colour across the eye. When it comes to the actual shadows, I'm just going for a nice pinky holographic look here. So as my transition shade, I use creme brulee, and then I deepen that up further with just a darker colour. And here I'm using the Zoeva soft crease brush just to make sure everything's all perfected. Taking Americano from Makeup Geek, I'm using that small precise brush to really get into the crease, and like I said earlier, this is going to give you a precise line and really open up the eye. And then going back in with the Zoeva brush as well, just to kind of make sure it's all softly blended. But as you can see, I repeat this process a lot, and I really switch up my brushes. It just depends on what works for you. What I love about the MAC 7 brush is you can use it vertically or horizontally, and it will give you beautiful looks. So when it comes to the actual lid of the eye, you want to use a packing motion, which is going to pack the most product off of your eyeshadow, if that made any sense. So the patting motion is going to really bring out the pigmentation. And here I'm using a holographic pigment from Makeup Geek as well, and I'm again using the same packing motion, and you'll be able to see the pigment of this pigment is really going to just come out. Another tip as well is spray your brush with some sort of face setting spray, usually Fix Plus. And then just so I like to tie the whole look together, I like to go back in with my blending brush as well, just to make sure those colours are kind of enfolded into the crease colour. And then of course, like I said earlier, just repeat this on the lower lash line. And I still use the same colours as well. So once you're finished with your whole makeup, it should look something like this. I just wanted to focus more on the eyes, just how I blend pretty much a look like this. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye!